Many people believe that V is in danger of his career. Many are saying he might have been forced off of the plane recently after going to LA and an alleged situation that happened, and people believe that V has exposed a stalker. So hey Dumplings, this is Dave Disci, let's get into it. V was recently in Paris for the Celine fashion show. People love this, people are having a great time seeing all of the content that is coming out, but a lot of people were really upset because apparently there were some stalkers or people that they didn't like that were photographing V. One of them was none other than a girl named Nuna V. She was believed to have a really popular fan site, and she is actually the one that gets photos from the airport appearances, fashion show appearances, events, and things like that. And a lot of people have been very suspicious of the fact that she seems to always be wherever V is at. So a lot of people really don't like her and say that she is a stalker. However, this is the part where I say the community often doesn't have critical thinking. It's pretty common knowledge and pretty much anything that you can Google to figure out that press and these fan clubs and fan sites, influencers, and any of these people are usually invited to high-profile events. In fact, if you take away these things, the likelihood of a celebrity going or the likelihood of it then being called a high-profile event is pretty low. Celebrities aren't just going to these events because they think it's really fun. There's a point to it. And especially if a celebrity like V is flying out to Korea from Paris, or from Paris to Korea, what do you think the point of him attending this event is? Like, if it was not press, what would then be the point of him being there? So yes, this girl who works at these fan sites was invited, and she likely was invited because she has connections to the brand, or she has connections to just a press pass and is able to get into these events. This really kicked up in controversy when one of the photos was believed to be V posing for her. So in this photo, V was looking directly into the camera, and she posted the photo and left her watermark. So a lot of people were debating whether or not she's actually a real fan that has VIP access to these events, or if she's just someone who is stalking him, with many people saying, well, obviously she's not a stalker because V is posing for her. And I agree with this sentiment because obviously if he is posing for her, then he likes her. And the fact of the matter is, if she was a stalker and he didn't like her, she would not be at the event. V just has to call security, and whoever he doesn't like will be escorted out of the event, because that then becomes a thing where V is like, it's either you have me at the event or you have a stalker at the event. And guess what? 10 out of 10 times at these events, they're going to want V there more than they're going to want a stalker there. At high profile events where there are so many celebrities, including V, but several other A-list celebrities too, including Anna Wintour and so many other really famous people, would not just allow anyone to waltz in and start taking pictures. There is a check-in, there's security, there's all that stuff, because once you are at the event, they are kind of hoping that security will be loosened up and these celebrities can take photos more openly, meaning most of them should be checked for anything that they might have on them. So everyone goes through this pretty rigorous checking process. So many people are wondering if it has been put to rest that Nuna V is not a stalker and that she is someone who is at these events for a reason and is invited to be there. Another reason why I think this rumor of her being a stalker and all that stuff even took place to begin with is because people in the community get jealous very fast. And when they see someone constantly running into V, or they see someone having the ability to be remembered and acknowledged by V, they become instantly jealous and then have to make up a narrative because they don't want that person to get close to V. They want to be the one to get close to V, and they don't want another person to take that opportunity from them. That's also true anytime a K-pop channel starts gaining any traction. They tend to throw hate to that K-pop channel because they don't want the K-pop channel to eventually be recognized by any of these K-pop groups. And this is when I say that some people in the community don't live in reality. Someone who has the ability to put their energy into something, execute it, and go for it, and be successful at it is not the same mentally as the person who might have a 9-to-5 or whatever. And I don't mean that they're better. I mean the mindset is just different. If you have a mindset of someone who doesn't want to go after these things, or maybe chooses to not go after these things for various reasons, then don't expect to be someone that would constantly run into V or constantly run into celebrities. And that's okay, that's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But then just don't send hate, because it's a life that you've chosen and a career path that you've taken. So it makes sense that you would not have those opportunities. So now you're hating on someone who has chosen a different path and was more courageous to choose that path, which is harder. There are pros and cons of choosing either lifestyle, right? One is more stable than the other. So it does take courage to break out of that if you don't want a life that is more steady. But with less steady means less risk and less reward. And if you take more risks, then you have more reward. And a reward could be something like running into your favorite celebrity all the time. So getting paid to run into your celebrity all the time is something that obviously she has worked very hard to do, Nuna V. Don't attack or be jealous of someone that you've never even tried to become. And people always misplace their anger and say things that I definitely think are not the most intelligent things. Recently, there's some photos that came out where it seemed like some of the members were in the studio in their military uniform. I can only find 3 members that had their studio photo shoot, which is RM, JK, and Jimin. And people were upset because V was not included within these 3 members to have a studio military session, with many people saying that V is being mistreated and he definitely should leave the label, as it appears he's only getting photos of what appears to be him outside of the military in front of some trees. Some people were very quick to jump to mistreatment and all that stuff, but we rarely ever know what's going on behind the scenes. These photos, at least from what I can tell, are not meant to be official photos that are to be posted everywhere or whatever, but specific photos used as a press release. These photos perhaps were going to be more internal photos that were going to be used to be sent out to news sites and that sort of stuff. That is good and bad, right? Because this means that news sites will have these very professional photos, but sometimes news sites and other publications will prefer more amateur photos because they can tend to look more realistic and natural. Now, given that these photos likely were only released through press releases and through the media, that would likely explain why we don't have photos of the other 3 members that are definitely not within this collection, right? Such as Suga, J-Hope, and Jin. Like, if you're complaining about V and his mistreatment, then you have to talk about the fact that I could not find any of those 3 members' photos. This also means that V could have had a studio session. It was just never published because the publication preferred to use a more amateur photo. So that's, first of all, we don't actually know what the real thing is. And the second thing to take into consideration, just how much time V might have had. It also doesn't make sense that they would not purposely do a photo shoot for him, but do one for all the other members, given the fact that V also grabs media attention very easily, and given the fact that he quite literally had a press thing right after the military. So he was going on a press tour or a press event, meaning this would have been a great opportunity for the label to capitalize on that opportunity to have press photos to use. But if they didn't do that, it could also be because they didn't have time to set that up for V. Maybe V had to go on a flight right away into a fashion show and travel and all that stuff, and he didn't actually have time to set a day aside to go into the studio and do this photo shoot. Quite frankly, it's better, in my opinion, that he didn't do it, because people are going to accuse V and all the members of doing illegal things since they are photographing themselves in their military uniform, which is not something you're supposed to do. However, obviously, since these photos are taken, I would assume that they did get permission to get these photos taken in their uniform. However, the haters are not going to acknowledge that part. Many are concerned over V and his safety. He has recently left Paris to go back to LA, and a lot of people are concerned that some stalkers might have stuck into the plane and attacked him, with a lot of people talking about the fact that everyone seems to know that he has left, even though there hasn't been too many photos or videos of him at the Paris airport going back to LA, and it seems like a lot of people are aware of his schedule. This is something that the community has been made aware of all the time. Every time the boys fly and every time they do their stuff, the community trends have a safe flight. This is done over and over again and for many, many years, and it's not to leak that they're on a plane, but it's just more so just wishing them a safe flight. The likelihood of a stalker getting on the plane and really messing with the boys is probably much lower now than it ever was before, as the boys are definitely aware that stuff like this can happen and probably have taken safety precautions for stuff like this. I'd imagine just booking out these seats around V would potentially help him have those seats be taken and no one else could be around him, and even just have them taken for his team, right? So just booking out the entire cabin and making sure that no one can get in there, so that like booking out the entire business class cabin for his security, manager, stylist, whoever that's coming with him, and if there's any empty seats, he would just book those out too. No one else would be allowed in the cabin at that point, except maybe the flight attendant, and that person, flight attendant, can stop whoever's trying to visit the cabin, right? So this is also the reason why only when it's a personal flight and he's doing that for his own fun day trips, we actually see pictures of him on the plane, like people taking it. So when it's work-related things like that, we don't really get any pictures from stalkers on the plane because he's likely having the label buy out the entire cabin. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. Linked down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.